He'll motion Taylor to the right side. He's loved this wheel route to Taylor. Can Henry stop it? 2nd down and 10. Only 5 seconds remain. Back to pass. 2-man rush from Henry. Waiting.
Come on.
There's zeros on the clock. This is your
Somebody
final play. Can he find
Let's
someone
go!
to break open lane? It's slotted! And Henry, wear your crown. King Henry, his first individual belt. He is your Madden 22 Ultimate Wildcard Champion.
9 for 9 in majors. How about belt winner? Henry has climbed the mountaintop. He's the best Madden player in the world. He's the ultimate wildcard champion. What a game. Comes down to the final play. Congratulations to Henry.
His journey in the MCS started back in Madden 20 at the Classic in Arlington. He lost in the final to legend Serious Mo. And finally, Henry has conquered the mountain. He has climbed it, he has conquered his demons, and he has an individual belt. He is your champion, TD, and for Henry, this has got to feel like 1,000 pounds off his shoulder.
Yeah, in only 3 short years, he's pretty much done it all, right? Except that individual belt, and now he's done it. What a start. What a 3-year run for Henry. I don't know if we've ever seen a start like that. Unbelievable. He finally does it now, and he cemented his legacy. YouTube, what's going on? So I'm back here, your boy T. Davis, and I do want to, before we get into exactly how Henry, won the Ultimate Wildcard tournament, it was just an amazing tournament, honored, thankful, grateful to be able to be the color commentator for the event. Always have a blast with my guy Nick Mazesco, my guy One Great User, and of course we added Clef the God to the broadcast booth for this event, which was a phenomenal addition. He did a great job for his first time commentating, nailed it out of the park, had an absolute blast. It was probably my favorite tournament that we've done, and a lot of it too was because of the crazy exciting games. We only had really one kind of blowout game, and that was Kerry beating Wesley in the Final Four. But every other game pretty much came down to the wire. Just an excellent tournament all the way through. And I do want to talk about Henry just for a second here. The one thing that was kind of, first of all, 9 for 9, making EA events. Listen, if you guys are out there, you're unfamiliar with how the Madden Championship Series works or the history of it, this man, Henry, right here, he's only 18, 19 years old. He's qualified for 9 of the EA major events. And these are all, big money events. He's competed in 9 of them, and he made all 9 of them. That's impossible. It's so hard to even make these events. We're talking the best of the best in the entire world playing Madden, and he's made every single event he's ever tried to make. Just incredible. But the one thing, of course, he's made some deep runs. He made the championship before. He made a Final Four, I believe, before. He's made the deep runs. He's made all these events. But he kind of, had a little bit of that, okay, he gets to the late in the game, he'll fold a little bit, right? He'll make a mistake. And in this tournament, it was like the complete opposite. He flipped a switch almost where it was like, okay, when the game is on the line, when I'm down, when I got to face a little adversity, I can fight through it. I can make a play. And we saw that in his game versus Drini. In this video, we're just going to cover pretty much the championship game because a lot happens. But I do want to talk about his game versus Drini a little bit. Of course, Drini Joka, arguably the greatest Madden player of all time. He was down 17-3, I believe, or 14-3, 17-3, I believe, versus Drini in the second half. Fought back to win that game against, one of the best players ever, and I think that did a lot for his confidence as well, knowing, okay, he's fought through adversity now, he can figure out a way to fight back and win. So we'll kind of get into it here. Let me just move this mic over a little bit, give myself some room here. And so we'll start, this game versus Kerry, just an amazing game, of course. What a fun matchup. And we'll start here early, right? So, starting in the game, Henry had the ball first, and, this is what I was talking about, right? Henry drops back to pass, and of course Jalen Hurts at quarterback real quick. Jalen Hurts did a lot for Henry, right? Has that great deep accuracy. If you guys are out there playing Madden Ultimate Team, you should be using Jalen Hurts at quarterback. Has the speed, has that deep accuracy. But you see here, kind of forces this crossing route, and Kerry playing that man coverage all game long. Pretty much cover one robber, had a couple of curl flats playing on the sidelines with his zone drops at about 20 yards. And you see exactly here, Taylor Mays is playing at about 25 yards. Henry just forced it, right? Early mistake that you don't want to make if you're Henry. And he just had his pretty much his best friend Wesley go up against Kerry, and Kerry ran this defense all game and destroyed him. So he made a critical mistake here. But the thing I want to talk about is the ability to bounce back, right? So early pick here. Now we'll go about 5:30, and of course you guys can watch this game on the Madden Championship Series YouTube channel as well, or if you go to the past broadcasts on the EA Madden NFL Twitch. But I think you can just pull up the YouTube, the Madden Championship Series. They do a great job putting the games up on their channel.
So we go here, and Henry's game plan now. Let me go back a little bit here. And we'll press play. Henry's game plan on defense, as we know, Kerry, he likes to play ball control. He runs this single back deuce close, likes to be under center. His game plan was to force Kerry to pass the ball. If he can stop the run and force Kerry to pass, Kerry's not known as, a prolific passer. He did great in this tournament passing, but that's not really his recipe, right? He wants to run the ball, play ball control, and throw a couple dots when he has to. So Henry's game plan was to force him to pass the ball. He forces him here on a 3rd and 10. Errant throw by Kerry, had a little pressure on him, and Taylor Mays for both guys making a play. So Henry was able to get that pick because he forced him to pass the ball. And then we just fast forward a couple seconds later here. Henry on offense, right? We talked about the Jalen Hurts. We talked about how good he is at quarterback. Now, but the one thing for Henry was he was able to adjust on the fly. So we said Kerry running straight man coverage all across the board, right, with these zone drops. So they'd kind of go to the sidelines here. I wish I had like a little highlighter. But the zone drops would play to the sidelines, right? Curl flat going back here, curl flat going back here, if you can see my mouse. And then it was man coverage across the board, and Kerry would just user the middle of the field, right? So he was kind of funneling everything to his user. So Henry, having that ability to adjust, getting that experience, really just mastering the game. This kid plays so many games, gets so many reps versus everyone. You see here, what he does is he actually puts his running back on an option route. So it's a simple hot route, really effective. But then he smart routes that option route to get it to go 10 yards. So it's actually going to get behind the zone drop in this situation. You'll see here that's man coverage, but the zone drop is playing over here at about, 5 yards, maybe 10? No, 5 yards, I would say. We'll call it that. And it's playing underneath. So Henry, being, a master at adjusting on the fly, especially in this tournament, he sets his option route to go 10 yards to get behind that zone drop. And you'll see here, it turns into basically an out route, a wide open, just an absolute laser, because those halfback ins and out routes and option routes do a great job beating man coverage. So the fact that he smart routed it to get it go deeper than the zone drop was just a masterful adjustment and an absolute laser. And that really started to get, this drive going for him. So then we'll fast forward a little bit later to this drive. You see here, and then one thing too, Wesley, I said, played Kerry before this, and Wesley was going over to this bunch strong formation. So Henry and Wesley, they like to run the bunch offset formation in the Carolina Panthers playbook, and it's so good. But Wesley kind of found something in the bunch strong with this PA. There's a play action play with a deep crosser here from the outside bunch receiver. And, Wesley kind of struggled in that game, but he did have he went to this formation and looked like he had some things. He just kind of didn't execute properly and had some, bad reads. So Henry, watching that game, saw what I saw, I think, and said, okay, I can kind of get to this bunch strong because I'm going to have this deep crosser that can beat man. I'm also going to have this skinny post on the solo side here that can beat man. He's going to have some motion slants or some drags, some running back routes over the middle as well. So a lot of different ways to beat this, great man coverage that Kerry was going to. So you see here also it's 2nd and 4, right? So this is a little, pro tip out there for you guys. If you want to beat man coverage and you have less than kind of 10 yards to go, smart routing these routes do a really good job, especially post routes. And that's exactly what Henry does here. Skinny post to the solo side here with Devin Hester. We all know how good Devin Hester is in Madden, especially in Ultimate Team. He's one of the best receivers you can get, all that speed. So he smart routes this skinny post to the solo side, right? And as you see him runs here, Kerry's all worried about these routes in the middle, right? He's worried about that option route to the running back that he got hurt with a couple plays ago. He's worried about B on this deep crosser that's going to go to the sidelines. Tight ends over here on a little inside route that he could have thrown to as well. So Kerry has a lot to worry about kind of in this middle of the field with his user. That's why he kind of gets stuck there. And then you see Devin Hester. Look at him. Just getting absolutely wide open on that smart routed skinny post that Henry, adjusted to, and Kerry's user just way far behind, has no chance to catch up, and that was an absolute, big-time bomb for Henry. Really kind of, got that momentum going. Big plays like that really hurt your confidence for Kerry, and that was a great job, again, by adjusting by Henry to take that early 7-0 lead. We'll go fast forward a little bit here to Kerry's next drive. So I want to point out the fact that we talked about, Henry's whole game plan, right, like I said, was to force Kerry to pass the ball, right? Stop that run, force Kerry to pass the ball. And Henry did a great job adjusting on defense as well, because if it was a running situation for 2nd down, or he saw a specific formation that he knew Kerry would probably run out of, he would actually shift his line a certain way, and then he would take his user, which was always the linebacker in the middle, and kind of line him up usually across from the running back to try to shoot the gap, right? That's Henry's goal. That's a lot of lab work that goes into that. It's a lot of reps where you know exactly where to shoot the gap. So he did a great job really shutting down the run. I think Kerry at one point he was like 12 carries for like 18 yards, like just could get nothing going on the ground. And you see here, once again, he shoots that gap pretty well, able to get in there, make a good play on the running back. And he did this a lot of times throughout the game. We'll even fast forward here to start the second half. It's kind of an even game at halftime, 14-14. But you'll see here, if I can get to the right time. Yeah, right about here. First play of the second half. You're going to see this phenomenal run defense from Henry. He sets up his user in the middle, right? He's ready for the gap shoot, gets right behind that D tackle because he knows this is probably an inside zone or a quick base. So if I line up my guy directly behind the D tackle, I can kind of swerve into that left side and make a play on the running back. And he does exactly that here. You see that user tackle with Sean Taylor right in the middle. So Henry, of course, has great stick work. He relies on his stick work with that gap shoot to blow up the run out of the backfield. Like I said, that was his goal. Stop the run from Kerry, force him to pass every play, and he felt like he had a good chance to win. We'll fast forward here a little bit more later in the game. Once again, Henry fighting through a little bit of adversity here. Downs 21-14, right? Once again, has to battle back. Goes to the bunch formation, and then he's going to audible over again to the bunch strong that we talked about, right? Making adjustments on the fly, learning from Wesley's mistakes, being able to make good reads, and has wide open crossing route here. Once again, Kerry's user was kind of lacking on this play, as you can see. That's the one thing for Kerry. He's getting up there a little bit in age. His user was lacking a little bit behind. But remember, this is the play he went to earlier where he had the option route to the running back, wide open behind the zone drops. He probably honestly could have went to him again. You see he's got a little bit of space with that running back. But this time, Kerry was he's worried about that a little bit. He's worried about Hester over the top, which Henry already hit. He's worried about the tight end, who looks kind of open here. And Kerry's user, like I said, just got caught lacking. And that deep cross, a great pass lead up the field, and just wide open Cliff Branch touchdown. So Henry's pretty much gone into this bunch strong play a lot because it has so many ways to beat man coverage like we talked about earlier, and he's gone to pretty much a different route every time, whether it be the running back, the skinny post to Hester, or this time the crosser to the bunch side. And Kerry has no answer for this play, and I think Henry kind of learned this watching Wesley, saw that he had some things with this play, can get behind the zone drops, can get behind the user, and he's doing a great job taking advantage of it pretty much with this one money play. We'll fast forward here as we wind down 28 minutes. Now, the whole theme, right, of this game for me is Henry adjusting, learning to, be in the moment now in these big games, figuring out what he needs to do on the fly. In this situation, critical point, right? See here, 2:22 left in the game. We're getting down to the wire. Kerry obviously needs a touchdown. He's down 4. So Kerry's going to start to pick up the urgency, right? He's going to start to pass the ball more. Henry's done a great job stopping the run. So what Henry does is he dials up the pressure, the blitz in the perfect moment, right? That's the one thing too with under center formations. You're very vulnerable to that under pressure thing that happens where if you get pressure on, you can throw an errant pass, or you can even it can get swatted by a D lineman, or sometimes they can even user rush up the middle versus under center. So it is difficult to pass the ball from single back or under center more than it is shotgun because of those reasons I just talked about. And Henry, knowing that, he does that. Dials up the pressure here on this critical point in the game where we're getting down to the wire. You see him dial up that pressure. He faked the turbo rush. Then he gets 2 guys coming free off the edge. Kerry has no choice. He's forced to throw it quickly. And I think Kerry might have pressed the wrong button. I'm not sure exactly, but just a bad throw here. It's a route you just don't want to throw. It's a streak. It's one-on-one coverage. It's covered. You don't want to make that throw. Pass leads to the outside, and Henry gets a huge pick. And this put him in a great spot, obviously up 4 with the ball. And then he would go down and get a field goal to make it a 7-point game. Kerry really tightened up, forcing that field goal to give himself a chance. And we would go down, of course, only fitting, right, as I mentioned in the broadcast, only fitting that the championship with an amazing tournament goes down to the final play of the game. And Henry did a great job calling a timeout here, making sure everything was set, right? You don't want to rush that last play of the game. This is the most important play in Henry's Madden career, right? I mean, this is for a lot of money. This is for a buy in the Madden Bowl. This is for the belt here. You're looking at $75,000. This is a $75,000 play. You have to make sure everything's set up correctly. He calls his timeout. He gets his defense set. You see Kerry use a little bit of motion out of the backfield. And if you're Henry in this spot, I think you play coverage, which is exactly what he did. Only rushed 2 defenders here. Waited, does a great job with the user, taking away the middle. Kerry is forced to kind of throw something, nothing open, and that would allow Henry to become the ultimate wild card champion. So for me, it was just a great job adjusting throughout the entire tournament, right, to what his opponent was doing, learning the tendencies, figuring out what to do. He had that one money play that really helped him with all different routes, and I was just impressed with Henry and kind of getting over that hump, right? He's been close a million times, but he really showed that fighting through that adversity and being able to adjust on the fly. Of course, he had great abilities out there too. We talked about the running back with that backfield master ability where he could kind of create some different route combos and really do a great job catching the ball in traffic or beating the man in safeties. He had receivers with abilities. He had the speed out there, of course, with Devin Hester, Cliff Branch, and that Jalen Hurts we talked about. Defense, he didn't have the best abilities for Kerry's run attack. Like, he didn't really have any D-line or linebacker abilities in Madden Ultimate Team, but he did have that user skill that needed, right? Like I said, he shifted the line, allowed his user over the middle to make some plays on the ball carry, forcing Kerry to pass the ball, and came up with some timely turnovers, and he was clutch in big moments. So I was really impressed with Henry. Phenomenal tournament. Can't wait for the Madden Belt. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you learned a little bit from it. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below if you learned anything or if you have any questions about what you saw in this game. Like I said, go back and watch it. You learn so much from watching these pros. Comment down below if you have any questions. Be happy to answer. Appreciate you guys, man. And I'm out. Until next time, your boy T Davis is out.